Okay, how are you?
Good, how are you? This is not,
That don't work.
I don't know, it's like not, oh, I was gonna say it's not even like lit up at all.
It is.
Oh, it's charging though, okay.
Charging, so it needs to charge.
Okay.
Don't leave it plugged in.
You got your paper copy though, right?
Yeah, I got everything.
Yeah, I only use paper.
I have this. I follow my paper.
Hey? Welcome. I was betting you weren't coming.
Yeah, I'm not that lucky tonight. Next week I won't be here. You'll be on your own. Oh, I know you know.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council Chambers. This is a regularly scheduled city council meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. The time is 5:30 p.m. Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Motley.
Here.
Friedlieb.
Here.
Paulson.
Present.
Beyondich.
Present.
Johnson.
Here.
Baranzelli.
Here.
Cuffey.
Present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll move to item 4 on the agenda, which is a public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone from the general public in the audience today that would like to address the council this evening. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to come forth and address the council? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 5, the consent agenda. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a councilor or a citizen of the city of Virginia requests that the item be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and correction of the minutes, 5.1A of the September 24th, 2024 council meeting. Item 5.1B, the October 1st, 2024 special meeting. Item 5.2 is the adoption of finance resolution number 24-019, the schedule of bills. Item 5.3, approve the following pay estimates. 5.3A, pay estimate number 5 to Casper Construction in the amount of $960,745.38 for the 10th Avenue West and 17th Street project. Item 5.3B, pay estimate 4 to Masaba Bituminous in the amount of $1,121,977.45 for the 6th Avenue West and 17th Street South project. Item 5.3C, estimate number 1 to Northland Construction in the amount of $92,244.05 for the 18th Street Culvert Project. Item 5.3D, estimate number 3 to Masaba Bituminous in the amount of $93,606.11 for the Silver Lake Trail Phase 3 project. And 5.3E, estimate number 2 to Utility Systems of America in the amount of $385,080.60 for the sewer rehab Phase 1 project. Item 5.4 is approve the following travel requests. 5.4A, Ella Rose Del Greco, Virginia Police Department, to attend the Emergency Vehicle Operations class refresher on October 23rd, 2024 in St. Cloud at a cost of $525. This is a requirement for the licensing on the Peace Officers Standards and Training Board. Item 5.4B is for Britt C. Bennis, our city administrator, to attend the Greater Coalition of Minnesota Cities Board meeting and Fall Conference November 20th through the 22nd, 2024 in Alexander, Minnesota at a cost of $575. These are the consent agenda items before the council today. Looking for council action.
I'll move the consent agenda.
Councilor Motley moves to approve the consent agenda. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Johnson.
I'd like to pull 5.1B and 5.3D, please.
5.1B and 5.3B. Is that correct?
D, 3 as
5.3D. Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the rest of the consent agenda, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Now, the first one, Councilor Johnson.
So the first one is the minutes from the special meeting on October 1st, 24. Most of what I said was not recorded, so I would like to repeat that and make a correction. So I had moved to approve that the city pay 50% of elected officials' senior cover insurance, and there was no support. And so part of my discussion was about this savings. I need the minutes to be reflective of that, and Pam, I can give you these notes when I'm done, if that would make it simpler for you at this time. The simple budget cut of this counselors paying 50% of single insurance only would be a cost savings to the cities of approximately $80,000 a year. I have been voluntarily paying my single coverage at 50% since the beginning of the year, which means that up to this month, I've received approximately $200 in direct compensation, with most months being no paycheck. I alone have saved about $4,000 in costs to the city by paying half of this. And my point was that if all the elected officials did do this, again, $80,000 could be saved. I also need the correction made that I am not doing the grandstanding. The grandstanding is being done at meetings by other elected officials. When we are discussing $500 in Youth for Action, a budgeted item, or the education and travel budgets for elected officials of about $5,000, and yet we won't even discuss an $80,000 cut. So I feel that it's the duty of this council to demonstrate leadership by showing personal sacrifice, especially when we're having these discussions about the budget almost weekly. And I think it's a time that when we're asking our citizens to pay more in taxes and their employees to do more with less resources, that we should be the ones leading that charge. And then the other one is 5.3D, the payment for the Silver Lake Trail Phase 3 project. It's still not done, and so I'm curious to know if this is to do anything with the part that's not done, what parts need to be done, and if they should be getting paid right now.
So from the committee of the whole meeting, when we discuss this, is there any other information or clarification for Councilor Johnson with item request regarding item 5.3D? Matt Reed, fortunately, we have Matt in the audience, our engineer of record. Matt, could you kind of give a little update and answer Councilor Johnson's question?
Certainly, Mayor. Good evening.
Good evening.
So this is in regards to Silver Lake Trail Phase 3. As of right now, the remaining item, I guess, is for them to install the lighting, and that's it. Everything else is done. I went through it all today even, and everything is done. They ended up having a wrong part, and so it was a bracket that is supposed to be here the end of the month, and then they'll pop the lights up. So hopefully Phase 3 will be done close to the end of the month here. It's drug out a long time, and I feel your frustration, but it's getting close. That's all that's left. This is not the last pay app. We will have one more. We have not paid them for the lights yet. Actually, we'll probably have two more. We're withholding retainage on everything as well. So we'll have one probably to pay for the lights when they're done, and then one yet to release the final retainage once everything's been covered. So,
Those were my questions. I appreciate it, Matt. Thank
Okay.
you. I will then move the corrected minutes and the payment of 5/3D.
Okay, Counselor Johnson moves to amend the minutes of the special meeting. It's supported by Counselor Freelieb. Is there further discussion on 5.3 or 5.1B? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And item 5.3D, pay estimate 3 to Sabatunis, amount of $93,606.11 for the Silver Lake Trail Phase 3 project. That was a motion that you made as well, Councilor Johnson, to approve. Is there support? By Councilor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, appearances. There's no one scheduled to appear before the council this evening. Then we'll move on to item number 7, unfinished business. Again, 7.1. We're getting closer to maybe eradicating this from the council agenda sometime in the near future. Any updates, Colleen, with respect to Essentia on the clinic lease?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I can report from Mr. Lindsay that he did meet with Frank Modich and bond counsel today. There were some good discussions held. There's some inquiry with respect to the bond, and bond counsel's looking into the question on that, and we should be able to report back at the next meeting as well. So,
Okay,
some updates.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. Moving forward, any other questions or comments with respect to the clinic lease as we move forward? Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we know when the last appraisal was done, or if we have a current appraisal on file?
Don't know, and I don't think we have a current one. We have discussed that we need to get into current appraisal. Right now, with the questions, like she alluded to, the question was if if the bond is transferable, or does it have to be paid off, is the question. Because as we know, the lease doesn't go as long as the bond does. So we're trying to figure out.
And the bond balance, I would want to know the answer of the current appraised value and then against the balance of the bond. That would be my, so I don't know, should I just make a motion to bring this forward to the committee of the whole to
Sure, certainly
discuss
can.
having an updated appraisal for the clinic? I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Okay, motion by Councilor Paulson to provide the council and the elected body and the citizens with an updated appraisal of the building and the bond, what's left on the bond to pay. Is that correct?
Maybe just to have discussion at the committee of the whole regarding maybe going out for a request for quote for the appraisal, or if it's a professional service, just maybe have an overall discussion about the appraisal and the lease and the bond
Certainly.
at the committee of the whole
Yeah,
level.
let's have that discussion about who's going to pay for that appraisal and how you split that out. But
Thank
yes,
you.
thank you. So that's a motion by Councilor Paulson. Is there support for that?
Support.
By Councilor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.1, discussion items. Adopt the resolution to approve the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Brownfield Community Grant application for the City of Virginia to be the fiscal agent for this project.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Paulson. Is there support? By Councilor Freely. Further discussion? I have one item, a discussion here. So we did get letter from Brownfield that we didn't get the grant last year. So this is for, again, we're trying again for this year. Okay, so thank you. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 8.2, approve the request for Revive Virginia to conduct a Twilight Holiday Parade on November 23rd, 2024, and approving the additional request for street blocking and placement of garbage cans.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Motley. Is there support? By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I'm sorry, discussion, Counselor Johnson.
Thank you. And I think it's, as the Food Truck Festival demonstrated, having the 300-gallon is very important. We've definitely filled up, and with the number of people that are crammed into Main Street for that, maybe even a couple off of Main Street a little bit would be very beneficial. I'm sure Britt has an idea of where they need to go, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.3 is approve the off-sale, off-site gambling application for the Rock Ridge Youth Hockey Association to conduct a raffle at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center on December 20th through the 22nd, 2024, and then once again on January 3rd to February 23rd, 2025. Move to approve by Counselor Freely. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Beyondich. Further discussion, Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Is this the car raffle, or is this a different raffle? I don't see any documentation in the packet of what kind of raffle.
So there's youth hockey.
Pardon?
A youth hockey raffle. They're doing it.
But is it the car, or is it something different? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Counselor Johnson. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.4, set the Truth and Taxation meeting for December 10th, 2024 at 6:01 p.m.
So moved.
Certifier levy, moved by Counselor Motley. Is there support? By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And finally, item 8.5, approve the license agreement between the Virginia Police Department and the Uptown Mall in Virginia.
So moved. Support.
Move to approve by Counselor Freely, been supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Johnson.
Once again, would like to thank Uptown Mall for providing this space for the work that Lieutenant Swenson and his team does. They do an awesome job, and they work very hard out of there for our community and those that are less fortunate.
Okay, thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, committee reports. The committee of the whole meeting that was held October 1st, 2024, and we'll turn this portion of our city council meeting over to our city administrator, Britt C. Bennis. Britt?
Thank you. At the October 1st Committee of the Whole meeting, we had a presentation from, sorry, Sean Lewis from Kraus Anderson. We did ask him when Second Avenue was going to be open. We were hoping that week it was going to be open, but unfortunately, as we all know, it's not. We're looking at Friday now. Second Avenue is supposed to be open Friday. Everybody keep your fingers crossed. After discussion with Sean, we went through a couple of our change orders. It was moved and supported to approve change order number 10 to omit the precast column, which deducts the contract by $4,540.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Paulson. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve change order number 11 for the precast sealant value engineering reduction and for a deduct of $30,093.
Move to approve by Counselor Freely. Is there support? By Counselor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve change order 12 for the landscaping value engineering changes in the amount of $88,145.81, which adds to the landscaping allowance, and an increase to the contract of the budget.
So moved.
Support.
Move to approve by Counselor Paulson and supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve change order 13 for hardware changes and for an increase to the contract of $13,537.13.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Motley. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve change order 14 for roofing system value engineering change for a deduct to the contract of $24,039.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Johnson and supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Eric Jonason, our Deputy Fire Chief of the Fire, presented the contract with ECP Services LLC for billing services for our ambulance department and for our rescue truck. It was moved and supported to approve the agreement professional billing services with ECP Services LLC and the City of Virginia Fire Department.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Paulson. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Matt Reed, our engineer of record from SCH, gave an update on the intersection change that is being proposed by MnDOT at 9th Street North and Highway 53. Reed noted that they're trying to get this section of 9th Street North back to the city, and they wanted to get the turn lanes to the way the city would like them to be, so they asked the city which we would prefer. It was moved and supported to approve option number 2 that was provided by MnDOT for the turn lane options in the intersection on Trunk Highway 53, 9th Street North.
So moved. Move to approve by Counselor Freely. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? And additional information will be forthcoming to the public clarifying how that interchange is going to work forward. And thank you to Street and Alley for meeting with Matt Reed and bringing this forth to the Committee of the Whole meeting. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We had discussion at the request of a couple citizens about the school zone signage around the North Star School, the Parkview School, and the James Madison School at the Street and Alley meeting, and then again at the Committee of the Whole. After discussion, it was moved and supported to approve the recommendation from the Street and Alley Committee to leave the Marquette School Zone signage as is with the speed limit of 15 miles per hour during school only, and then to hold the other recommendations for the other elementaries in abeyance at this time.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Matt Reed presented information regarding placement of a new sanitary sewer main along 6th Avenue, kind of adjacent to 4th Street North. That would be to the lift station that's on 4th Street North, right next to Rotary Park. The reason this request is coming forward is the private business that is on the lakeshore side has experienced 2 steam backups into their buildings, which cause excessively hot steam to melt the pipes inside their wall twice. And so we're looking at trying to figure out a way to help them with a different sewer main, a different sewer configuration. It was moved and supported to direct staff to develop a plan on how to proceed with the proposed update to that sewer main and to seek outside funding for that project.
So moved.
A move to approve by Counselor Motley. Is there support? By Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Ms. Amanda Metza and Mr. Scott Duranko from AFSCME were present to discuss the Step 3 grievance from AFSCME. The city staff was moved and supported to direct city staff to obtain statistical data regarding the out-of-class pay for Step 3 grievance for determination at the council meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. I know our internet is down, but I believe that you had sent us an email regarding some of the data that's referred to. And would it be a possibility to have you maybe brief us on that or give us a little refresher on that?
I don't see, they cited a large precedence of this happening, and I just didn't see that in the data. Often, what you'll see in the data, going back all the years, you'll see that there is a lot of call-outs. That'd be the overtime. So if there was a call-out for a sewer emergency, they would get a call-out pay for that. And then you see a lot of 8-hour shifts. So those would be times when people were assigned to that duty for the day, but I just don't, it's just not, and Scott did allude, it was not a common thing. It doesn't happen very often, and it really doesn't, so I don't have a lot of precedent to go forward. And I know Scott and Amanda couldn't be here today, but, just my personal suggestion is that maybe we direct staff to work with AFSCME on a resolution for this grievance. I think if we agree to solve the grievance the way they ask, I think we ask for a few clarifications to the contract going forward as part of the solving of this grievance, so that this isn't a problem again in 3, 4, 5 years.
I would be comfortable with that if everyone else is, just to maybe make sure, and then also just to put language in there that is not precedent setting.
Yeah.
As we are also doing in the, I guess, coming up MOU. So do we need that in the form of a motion, Britt?
We're meeting with AFSCME next week, or we're meeting with them before the committee of the whole meeting.
So we just refer this?
So if you could just defer it to the committee of the whole. and we'll
Okay, so
come to
I
a
would just
resolution.
I would move item J and defer that to the, would it
Committee
be
of the whole meeting.
next committee of the whole meeting?
Okay, thank you. Moved by Counselor Paulson to move this to the committee of the whole meeting. Is there support? Support by Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 9.1K came from the Personnel Committee meeting held on September 26, 2024. It was moved and supported at the Committee of the Whole to direct staff to negotiate a memorandum of understanding with MAPE and Mr. Bill Cole to continue as the interim designated building official.
Moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Paulson. Is there support? Support by Counselor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the request for unpaid leave of absence for a medical reason for a single role EMT until November 17th, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Motley and supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the request to authorize an external posting for the vacant library aide casual position.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Freelieb. Is there support?
Support.
Is supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to let the public know as well, this is a casual position with no benefits, and it is under 20 hours per week at $15.54 an hour. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Has been moved and supported. Further discussion? Counselor Motley.
I just wanted to explain why I'll be changing my vote from a yes to a no from last week to this week. I've had numerous taxpayers reach out to me about this, and actually the next item on the list. So in their concern of slowing down the hiring of city employees. So at this time, that is why I will be changing my vote to no, to let them know I hear you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Motley. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Johnson?
Aye.
Aaronzelli?
Aye.
Huffy?
Aye.
Motley?
No.
Freedlieb?
Aye.
Paulson?
Aye.
Beyondich?
A motion passes 6-1. Thank you.
After discussion, it was moved and supported to approve the request for the posting of the accounting clerk 1 position.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? By Counselor Freely. This is item that's, this job is currently in the 2025 budget for this position. Is that correct?
In the 24 budget.
I'm sorry, excuse me, the 24 budget, excuse me, apologize for that, yeah. So moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Beyondich.
And at the Personnel Committee meeting, it was a recommendation of our Finance Director. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Counselor Motley.
Just clarifying why I'll be changing to a no to the taxpayers that are expressing their concern about continued hiring of city employees. I will be changing my yes from last week to a no this week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moved and supported. Any additional further discussion? Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually was very apprehensive about adding this position, but after hearing from the Finance Department and our Finance Director said this was a necessary position that we needed to fill. And so I just want to clarify that too, Sherry, that this is, in your opinion, this is what is necessary to get the tasks completed by the finance staff in the office.
Okay, thank you.
I just confirmed from
Sherry?
Yes, Counselor Paulson, and thank you again for meeting with us and the staff. I also did budget it for next year in 2025, so it's in the budget. But I think we expressed ourselves quite a bit, and yeah, it would help. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. And so then we had budgeted at a level for budget cycle 2024 for this year. We had budgeted at a level 3, and we have not filled that. It's been about 5+ months. So we have, is that right, or has it been longer? More than that? Okay. So we have the funds currently in that department that we have not expended. And so moving forward into 2025, you have budgeted for a level 1 clerk position. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion regarding the County Clerk 1 posting? Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor, and I appreciate that clarification, Counselor Paulson, that this is not a new position. This is a position that we're filling that has been budgeted and empty for a majority of the year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Johnson. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none more. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Aaron Sally,
Yes.
Huffy,
Aye.
Motley,
No.
Friedlieb,
Aye.
Paulson,
Aye.
Beyondich,
Aye.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you.
Item 9.10 is we discussed the Public Works Team Leader job description that was updated. It was moved and supported to approve that updated Public Works Team Leader job description.
So moved.
That moved and supported, or moved by Counselor Motley. Is there support? By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the updated wastewater collections job description, which used to be called sewer maintenance.
So moved. Moved to approve by Counselor Freely, been supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
AFSCME has requested that we set a negotiating committee with them regarding the building maintenance repair foreman position for Park and Rec. It was moved and supported to appoint Counselor Friedlieb to be part of the negotiating committee to discuss the building maintenance repair foreman position.
So moved.
Support.
Moved to approve by Counselor Johnson and supported by Counselor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Lindsay, our city attorney, noted that with a recommendation to fill the concessionaire RFP was prepared but not quite ready to divulge who the parties were yet. So we did have a motion to authorize city staff to negotiate with both sides for a lease at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center concessions and to bring back to the council for approval. I don't know if you want to say anything, Colleen, or if you...
You can announce the concessionaire.
We did have a conversation with Boomtown on extending an offer to them for negotiation, which we'll be meeting with them on Thursday. And we are working with our current liquor vendor on their contract, the language, and how we're going to utilize that.
Mr. Lindsay indicated that they hope to meet this week, like you said, Thursday, and hopefully have something back for the committee of the whole if you want an update then, so.
I'll move to authorize city staff.
Moved by Counselor Paulson. Is there support? Support by Counselor Motley. Further discussion? I'll wait for the...
Again, I think it's just to continue the negotiations to present something at committee of the whole.
Okay, okay, thank
It's not
you.
to approve the actual
Yeah.
contract, because you guys aren't really looking at a contract yet, so.
No, and so,
Just
thank
to
you.
continue along the process and provide an additional report and.
Okay, thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Any other items?
I just want to point out that we did have a discussion regarding the bench policy for city parks. The Park and Recreation Commission is working on getting a more solidified policy so that it's very clear what happens when you purchase a bench in memoriam and what kind of benches we'll accept. We did talk about the hours of the parks and signage, and then we will be talking about the cleaning services RFP at the next committee of the whole meeting.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. No other items? Okay, thank you. I'll move to item number 10, Commission Liaison Reports. Does any city councilor have a Commission Liaison report they'd like to provide this evening? Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Human Rights Commission met last night. We do still have openings on the commission for a couple of terms. If you're interested, you can get a hold of Pam. A majority of the meeting was spent by the commissioners discussing the human rights authorization in City Code 32D.2 and 3, I think, and looking at what the formal task is, and part of that task is trying and hearing evidence about complaints in the city, and seeing as the communication through the state and the Human Rights Commission of the state, and that has changed, they will be looking at doing some formal recommendations to align the tasking of the City Human Rights Commission with what they're actually capable of doing, and how the referral to the state process works. So they'll be working on that for the next couple of meetings, just as Planning and Zoning is going through their charges, and then we'll be bringing those forward for adjustment, and there's some words that we need to be cleaned up in there as well. And that took about an hour last night, so thank you to the commissioners that worked on this, and you'll be seeing more from them in the future. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. I have a report with the Charter Commission met a couple of weeks ago for the first time in a couple of years. We welcomed new commissioner, Crystal Royer, and brought up to date on some of the statutes and how our charter differs from others. And the chair of the Charter Commission, Don Cipolla, is requesting that we consider some changes to the charter with respect to a couple other items. And so we're going to have another meeting in November, and I'll have more specific information for you moving forward as to what those requests are to the council for a change. So thank you. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, I'm waiting for those changes.
We'll see.
You know what, I just realized that we don't usually give an update from VEDA or VEDA, so maybe we should, because they're not a commission, they're technically an authority, but.
Well, you're it.
And the airport as well, I suppose we could add those items. But, so just to give a quick update to the general public, so VEDA is Virginia Eveleth Economic Development Authority. And after VEDA closed on the property with the 1404 Progress Parkway property with the school, there was a gross profit of $280,000, and we were able to then split those proceeds between Eveleth's EDA and Virginia's EDA, so VITA with one E. And VITA actually met last week, and VITA authorized the portion that VITA would be receiving, which is $140,000, to allocate that back to the city of Virginia, since it was the city of Virginia's funds that went in to pay for the building of 1402 and 1404 Progress Parkway, known as, I guess, Progress Parkway. So at the VITA discussion, the board agreed to release the funds of $140,000, of which that I feel like in our budget discussion that we had, we can then earmark that for future economic development, as those dollars were originally allocated for economic development in the beginning. So it's a nice little windfall for the city of Virginia and also for the city of Eveleth and their EDA. And Eveleth's EDA is doing the same thing. Their EDA will, I guess, pay the city of Eveleth the balance of their proceeds. So I just wanted to give an update on that. And 1402 then will be coming up. It's free and clear. There is no encumbrances on the 1402 property. So when the time comes that we can have that discussion, that will also be able to divide the proceeds of those sales to both communities. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. And it was discussed at our VITA meeting, as you were there, and explained that to the VITA board members as well, and looking for that pathway to get it to the city. So thank you for that. Any other commission liaison reports anyone would like to give today? Seeing none, we'll go to department head reports. I'll go left to right. Britt, any other information you'd like to provide from the department heads?
Not that I can think of, but thank you.
Okay, thank you. Colleen, from legal, anything?
Nothing that I can think of at this moment, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the update on the clinical lease. Anything to disseminate to the public and to us, Pam, with respect to the clerk's position, elections or anything like that, or just anything you...
Nope, status quo still,
Status quo.
absentee voting.
Well, I know you've been working very hard. There's been a lot of early voting, so people coming in, that's encouraging,
Yep.
It's with the staff of one for the most part, it's doing very well, so thank you for that.
Well, just up to date on the absentee ballots, about 450 were mailed out.
It's
now,
amazing,
so.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Pam. Sherry, anything you would like to disseminate this evening?
No, I do want to say one thing. Pam, at the last midnight hour, sent it over to me. So I haven't had an opportunity to update the budget, but we did get a little more mining effects tax than what it's for this year or next year. Oh. Okay, I'm in 25 already, people. So I'm sorry. I've been working on the budget. Scratch that. But I know that we are on the heels of what you just got through saying about the 140,000 for economic development. I'd like to sit down again and discuss that in a budget meeting. Maybe we can invest that and gain some interest and work off it that way. I just think that once you stick it in the general fund, black hole.
Thank you. Jenny, anything from planning and permitting and enforcement?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just did want to update that we had a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting last night. We had no public hearings, but we did have a healthy discussion on some of our ordinance amendments that we're working on.
Fantastic.
And one other thing is that we are down a member, so if anybody knows of anyone who wants to be on a very fun committee, please apply. Thank you.
Are elected officials allowed to serve? No. We'll find somebody. Thank you. Okay, I have a couple of things I'd like to add. First of all, I did attend the Laurentian Chamber Annual Gala, and at the Iron Trail Memorial Event Center. It was a well-attended event. I had a chance to talk to a lot of people with respect to that. The food was fantastic, and the awards were very invigorating. And I just want to reach out that Range Mental Health, an individual got an award, and I should have wrote her name down, but I didn't. And she works for the Mobile Crisis Team with Lieutenant Swenson. They have the office over there at the mall. She received an award from the Laurentian Chamber for all the work she'd done on the Mobile Crisis Team, and her staff and everyone else that was involved in that. So give a shout out to her for that. And I did at that dinner meet with Congressman Stauber. He had to be there with, and his aide, Mr. John Elarenta, and we're going to schedule a meeting coming up. So if you have any suggestions moving forward, I'll get a hold of Mr. Elarenta. We're going to set up a meeting, and Congressman Stauber said he would find a way to meet with us on what our needs might be, and so we'll make a list of those things moving forward. So thank you for that. And then the chili cook-off and the Iron Range Tourism Bureau, both gave awards out. One hospitality award was awarded to one of the head chefs and cooks, and at the Copper Nickel, I got a Spirit of Hospitality Award from the Iron Range Tourism Bureau. Very exciting. Eric, he's a very professional guy, and it was nice to see him receive that award. In addition, a shout out to the Copper Nickel again, because they won the Taster's Choice Award at the Chili Cook-Off as well. So just give them a shout out for that, so thank you. Jody, did you have anything you'd like to disseminate as the department head? Please come forward. Thank you for setting the background there, so thank you. Jody Grebanowski, our library director.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So we do have some events coming up. So tomorrow, a heck of a new deal with is a legacy program at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon in the library. It's going to talk about the WPA and the art in the Iron Range. The presenters are great, so that should be a lot of fun. Friday, we have story time at 10:30. We are doing colors. And yes, we will be dressing up as crayon-type people, so that should be fun. And then next week, you can come and do the forest maze. It will be tall enough that you can't see over it, so it's for everyone. There'll be nocturnal animals hiding in there and all that good stuff. And then for the after-school event on Wednesday, the 16th, we will have autumn leaf prints. And then we do have an active play next week and all those types of things. So we have lots of activities in the next couple weeks to keep kids busy. And just as a fun fact, 2 of our 6th graders, seriously, we had 41 people for the Rubik's Cube. They were just how fast you can solve it. I think the fastest was 20 seconds. We had 41 people. We had people that were trying to do it who never solved it. And the youngest one that solved it in under 30 seconds was 8. So they have requested to continue doing this, and now we're trying to find some dates so they can keep having competitions. And so the kids have been very active in telling us what they would like to see at the library. So that's been a lot of fun. I think that's it for now.
Thank you, Jody, very much. Item 12, council reports. Any councilor want to give a report this evening? Seeing none, there is no other business to come before the council meeting today. So we will adjourn our council meeting. It is 6:15 p.m. We adjourn to our next council meeting, which is October 22nd, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. in the council chambers. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody's hard work. We stand adjourned. Good night.